Okay, so the video cut off and then it was uploading for forever, and in that time I was doing stuff. Um, and so I'm not like continuing a video from a place of like where I just left off. So I don't remember what I was talking about exactly. It was something about like um you are put into this predicament as a mind of having to take care of your container of consciousness and the content that comes into it from the outside reality. You are abandoned to full responsibility. Uh, here, you are abandoned in a predicament that you are not prepared for, that you are not trained for, that you are not capable of actually doing a good job at, which is being given this extremely complex brain power and being given this extremely complex environment that you're supposed to traverse. And the environment is the space, obviously, of any given moment, but the environment is also the time that you have to traverse because the space shifts over time. Things change. Also, there's so much space. There's all these different things in space, and you have to understand what those things are, and you have to react correctly in order to stay alive, and in order to you have to understand how different things in space like can be put together in order for your life to be well, because there's also danger in the space. There are hungry lions trying to eat you. There are other members of your own kind of physical form, in this case a human being form, who don't have a problem with harming you in order to get resources that they perceive you either being or having. And so you have to like give pushback against things in space because they're coming to get you. And if your soul is such that you don't want to do that, you have no choice, because if you don't do that, you die. And if you die, you might be recycled back into this space like a game avatar. And your mind, being something that isn't killed by your physical form no longer being in existence, has residual, well, just the residual, like having lived a life experience, the mind, which is the container of things coming in from the outside, uh, there's memory of things that have been in the container, and so then you have a residual. You have information that you remember from your experience of life in space, and the content that used to be in your mind container, which travels from body to body, from form to form. I know I'm saying all this like I'm teaching you something that is for sure the truth. I don't know why it's coming out like this. I'm still here, okay? I don't know why it's coming out like this. It's just that like I am presenting like a hypothesis of reality, but it just comes out like a complete like theory, okay? I just want to note that like I know to anyone who's scientifically minded, it sounds weird because it's like you haven't proven anything. I'm like, I know, I'm not. I'm just trying to like say it's just coming out that way. I don't know why. Okay, and so this is a hypothesis, okay? But is it a hypothesis? I'm like, it doesn't feel like a hypothesis. It feels like it feels. I should say it differently. Then it's like I'm saying something that sounds to me. Does it sound like to me? It's like, let's pause my desire for like perfect science, like towing the line, and actually like spew the content. Okay, so um, mind and the memory of content that has been inside of your mind container from previous experiences of being in space, as space changes over time. Because time is just a reference to all the processes of different things that are in existence in space, and they are like unfolding because they're active and in motion, which means like there's stages of like if this and that, if this and that, cause and effect. All these different things in space are like they're unfolding all these different phases and stages, and all those different things interact, like in all those different phases of like a thing, right? Phase, but like a thing here, phase, a thing of this phase, a thing of that phase. They're in the same space. There might be a relationship between the way that those two phases interact, but there's like so many things, like grains of sand on the beach, and that's just grains of sand, and there's all so much stuff in space, like just billions of trillions of objects, or like trillions of contained identity object living form things in space, all interacting, all having like a way that they like on each other. Do you know what I mean? And this flux, that is what time is. Time is not like a thing. Time just means like at this slice through of this nanosecond, you could say, all the different trillions of things, animate and inanimate, were this like state of themselves. At the next like nanosecond of like cutting through space, like slice of life, like slicing through space, which is just a, let's say that it's a container and all these things are in it, and you slice through all the things, and it's like, what is the state at which all the trillions of things are at during that particular slice through of space? It's just like getting a snapshot, like a picture, and then you put it all together and you see a movie. That's what time is referencing. Time is just referencing, like, time means the universal cut through of everything at that particular time, at that particular phase at which everything is. That's what time means. It doesn't mean anything else. So time is just a reference to the way that space is in flux. It's a reference to the unfolding of the different stages and phases of all the things, the trillions of things that are in space, including like a rock, and the way that like maybe like water is like, you know, smoothing it out over time, and a human like being in a specific like state of biological life, and their thoughts, their mental intelligence being at a particular level during that particular slice through, and what that means for that human being as far as what their life can be, because a human being's life depends entirely on the level of intelligence at which that human being is able to like bring themselves to. And logic and logic is your safety net. Logic is your safety net. I want to like close my eyes because there's anything more that I need to say to like, because the closing of the eyes is to not get distracted, and because like it like gets the thought like really like focused, like as in like distractions are like blocked out. That's why the closing of the eyes. I'm like, I have nothing else that I need to say from me trying really hard to focus to express an idea. I've said like what I wanted to say, and now like this feeling of like, and logic is how you protect yourself. The fancy philosophical term law of identity, A equals A, is your foundation of safety. Because if reality, you cannot be faulted. Now there's the activity of some other minds doing something, and they're like trying to say something like, "Oh, you can't be faulted because you just like keep using logic," and it's like we can't blame you for making sense. You can't be blamed for making sense. Making sense is not a sin. I don't know how to fucking defeat you. You don't fucking like swerve. You just keep like going back to making sense, because making sense is just logic, and it's just literally called like you can't be accused of sin if what you're doing is being like reality makes sense. in the sense of like reality is stable, as in like things are what they are, which is what law of identity A equals A by Aristotle means. And everything else, and there's this clarity that came through, and now there's minds trying to create chaos and extra like clutter content to like kill the like power of what was coming through just now. And to like they're also like trying to they're trying to like do like if there's like a paint on a canvas and then you go like this, you know, like everything's like a nice picture, but then they're going like this to make it be messy. That's what's happening right now in my emotions. I'm just trying to let you know about my experience right now, because the forces of disharmony and destruction and death and non-success, like the forces that try to make sure success doesn't happen for consciousness, whatever consciousness might be alive and therefore needing success in order not to be in misery, like those forces are acting on me right now. I just want to communicate that to you. But logic is all you need, okay? Because yeah, so I just want to read these notes that I because the last thing that I said was like, okay, you're placed in this environment and it's like you are given full the responsibility of survival is you're placed in this environment, and you are a sensitive, tender heart of a consciousness, and the environment is harsh, and whoever created this environment, because it wasn't you, whoever created this environment, whoever like is the responsible for how things are, doesn't care about you because it doesn't talk to you. It doesn't give you a manual. That sounds like Emmanuel, but that's not me. That's that shit trying to like insert itself into what I'm trying to say. Because it all might just be like high evil, like hot evil, hot devil might be things that are trying to pass themselves off as good, because at some point evil gets bored. You know how people get desensitized to stuff and they need more? And I have this theory that like there's a level of devilishness that got so bored because it got so like high up in its like evil action that it needs to now like trick people into thinking that it's the good, because it gets off on that like bait and switch moment of then like someone trusting completely, and then they're like, and now bitch, I'm gonna destroy you, wow, you're gonna cry too now. Do you know what I mean? Because I've had that experience several times in my life, and it has completely gutted me, and I was like, how could God allow that? And then time passes, and then God does it all over again to you. But that's not what I wrote. That's actually like a theory that I do have, a hypothesis. It's a genuine hypothesis. I'm not saying it's true. I'm saying it's a hypothesis. And I'm like, it fits reality. And then it's like, where's safety? I'm like, I don't know, baby. We have to find it. The point is that like, you have to discover safety. It's not given. But there's this feeling like intelligence, if you understand that you have the ability to follow the law of logic, which is the law of identity, it won't fail you because you're building your knowledge base, your knowledge bank, you're building your consciousness, your container, your mind. You're choosing what goes in it based on what is. And you don't allow anything that is unproven or just someone's opinion, or like it's like I can't afford to allow anything into my mind container that isn't actual reality. Because if God is good and God is on my side, and for some reason God can't communicate to me or send me a dream or explain these horrible situations in my life, okay, but like reality, if I build my entire mind on reality, God is reality, I will eventually get to a good place. And whatever like space between like God's wisdom, if God is real, and me, and where I can get to in my like understanding of things based on like just being true to reality, if God is good, he will like take me over that chasm. It doesn't offend God. It cannot offend a good God for me to just build my mind on reality. It's not possible if God is good. Does that make sense? Okay. But yeah, the thing that I was saying, I was like, you're placed in this predicament where you have to be responsible for choosing. And the question naturally was like, well, how do I choose? How do I know? And it's like you have to train your intelligence ability, because it's not an instinct. You're not just smart or dumb. It's like you have the ability to be intelligent, but all of these concepts of God and religion have prevented you from discovering that you have the ability to look at reality and understand it and choose. And choosing is also like a skill. People are like, it was your choice. Do you hear how like not loving that is? It's like it wasn't your choice. You couldn't do it better than how you did. No one ever talked to you about choice. Did you have a class in school that was like choice making? People always dump on you all this like, you should have known better. It's like, why should I have known? You shouldn't have known better. You didn't know. No one helped you. Life is so complicated. All these dangers everywhere. Choice making and decision making is also something like a skill that you you can develop. And if somebody were to be loving and on a higher dimension, they would clearly and easily give you lessons in how to develop your ability to choose. They wouldn't just dump you into the ocean with the sharks and tell you to swim, and if you don't make it, it was your fault. Do you see how like God is missing? I'm like, God, the actual real definition of that word is not like present in reality. Like I don't perceive it. The thing that you guys are talking about is not it. There can be a higher dimensional being that brought down some kind of intensely fractal document called the Bible that has this hypnotic effect on people. That is something that is completely possible to be real, but the nature of that being is not good then. Does that make sense? And so I wrote some things. So studying math, I think, is the first step in developing your ability to make decisions, because math teaches you how to, like, it trains your ability to think logically. And so genuinely, I'm like, begin with geometry, begin with algebra, begin with arithmetic possibly, and really think about it. Like when I say 1 + 1 = 2, why does it equal 2? You may have had the experience that I had of like teachers who made you feel like you had to keep up and you were so scared that you're going to be stupider than the other kids. You didn't like really have a chance to think about what was being presented to you, because math is just conceptual, but actually that's not real. Concepts are a way to describe the essence of things that are practical, that are physical, that are real. So 1 + 1 means I'm seeing there are two objects. And if I see like there's 1 and 1, there's 2. So all those symbols in math, they represent actual things that are in physical reality. Mathematics cannot be divorced from actual physical reality. If some person inserts things into mathematics that are not based in actual reality, they are breaking the law of identity, because now they're bringing in things into math that don't exist. They're bringing in their irrational thinking into math, breaking everything, and you have to reject it. Okay, I don't have enough time to say this, but I wrote this like note. So the God concept kills the ability to trust yourself, and trusting yourself is a foundation of personal ability to choose and decide. So the goal is to achieve resonance with myself and with my experience, to not be divorced from myself, to not have someone inserting ideas into my like waking up and like my conscious daily living and feeling guilty, feeling confused because someone's inserting things into my consciousness space that they're saying I'm supposed to accept, or else I'm going to hell, or else I'm not protected. It's like, I can't function like that. Like, what is real? You're not allowing me to, and I'm confused. I'm wasting my time. You feel me? So like the first thing is to achieve that like first clean space of being able to be in resonance with your own experience, where everything equals everything else. Like I experience this, and the thoughts in my mind like equal that, and everything else is currently pushed to the side because it's just at first I have to be clean and ordered. Okay. Studying math, first step in getting good at intelligence, the ability to manage one's mind container and what